Did you know that the current world number one once toppled the king of clay in his own kingdom? In this video, we'll be talking about the humble lifestyle of Carlos Alcaraz, letting you in on the things you probably didn't know about him. So sit back and relax as we bring to you the life of the current world number one in the world of tennis. Since the time of the Big Three, the world of tennis has experienced a number of significant shifts, one of which is unquestionably the current holder of the number one ranking, Carlos Alcaraz. He is making a lot of money from tennis and is rising quickly in the rankings. But where does all of that money go? Let's kick back for a moment and take a look at his low-key lifestyle as well as his biography and famous girlfriend. Carlos Alcaraz is a Spanish tennis player who, as a result of his victory at the US Open, became the youngest athlete in the history of the sport to hold the position of world number one at the age of 19. Because Carlos is so obviously modeling his game after Rafael Nadal's, many people seem to refer to him as Rafael Nadal Jr. Carlos Alcaraz was born on the 5th of May 2003 in Murcia, Spain, to Carlos Alcaraz Gonzalez and Virginia Garcia. His father was a former tennis player. The young Carlos had three brothers, Jaime, Alvaro, and Sergio. When Alcaraz was only 4 years old, his father, who was a tennis director at the Real Sociedad Club in Murcia at the time, taught him how to play the game and gave him pointers on how to improve. The fact that Carlos has tennis in his blood may be partially responsible for his meteoric rise. He got an early start, and ever since then, he hasn't stopped moving forward. Alcaraz is widely considered to be one of the most talented players of his generation. After capturing 2 titles on the ITF Junior circuit while he was still a junior, he achieved a ranking as high as number 22. After a successful run as a junior player, he turned professional at the age of 15 and went on to win 3 titles on the ITF Tour and 4 on the ATP Challenger Tour, earning him a spot in the top 100 for the first time in May of 2021. After advancing to the quarterfinals of the US Open in September 2021, he had moved up into the top 50 of the rankings at that point. After a victory over Sebastian Korda in that year's Next Generation ATP Finals, he was crowned the champion. In tennis, there has been a lot of speculation about the younger generation being able to succeed the Big Three, and Carlos has demonstrated that this speculation is warranted in 2022. At the age of 18, he is the youngest tennis player to rank among the top 10 in the world, and he has already demonstrated that he will succeed Rafael Nadal, who previously held the record for this achievement, which he accomplished in 2005. In the ATP tournament, Alcaraz has had a very successful performance up to this point. After only 2 years in the sport, he already has 6 career titles and a Grand Slam after winning the just concluded US Open. Since making his debut, he has competed in a number of tournaments that are notable enough to have assisted the rising star in moving up to first place in a span of just 2 years. I mean, this is absolutely incredible. As a result of all his championship victories, he has amassed prize money totaling more than $6.5 million. What plans does Carlos have for that vast sum of money he's accumulated? Carlos says the following in an interview: "My father is tougher and my mother is less. So to go out and those things I tell my mother to do. I don't have time as such, but they always tell me, don't be late. As much as I try not to make any noise when I get home, they always wake up and catch me." This demonstrates how lowly his lifestyle can be at times. Furthermore, let's take a look at his housing. You would think that a rising star of his age would flaunt his wealth to the world, or at the very least, go for a luxurious mansion. But he hasn't done either of those things. Juan Carlos Ferrero, Carlos's coach, is also his landlord, and he allows Carlos to live in the training facility he owns. Since 2019, he has made it his primary residence at the institution so that he can concentrate solely on his professional advancement. The tennis academy can be found in Spain and features 20 tennis courts, a fitness center, a restaurant, a school, and of course, houses for the players to stay in while they're training there. The majority of players have their homes constructed out of 25 square meters, but as we all know, things are always subject to change. And despite the fact that Carlos has not yet moved into a mansion, the academy has provided him with a modest upgrade to a very special house. This house is the same one that Juan Ferrero lived in when he was ranked number 1 in the world in 2003. In addition, many famous actors, such as Guillermo Garcia Lopez, have stayed at this house at some point in their careers. This is a pretty modest way for the world number 1 to live, don't you think? Being a young star comes with certain responsibilities and obligations, and one would expect Carlos to have the same qualities. On the other hand, he does not drive a flashy car, as one might anticipate of someone his age. After successfully passing the driving test in 2021, he did not receive his driver's license until this year. Even though Carlos does not currently own a flashy automobile, it probably won't come as much of a shock when we see him driving one in the future. In an interview conducted in 2021, he's quoted as saying, "Obviously my parents control the money for me. To buy some golf clubs, which I love, I don't ask for permission, but for a good car, yes, I'm still fighting for it." In addition to this, after he received his driver's license, he captioned a picture on Instagram with the following, "Objective accomplished. I am already one more on the road." This demonstrates that the young Spaniard in question is, in fact, passionate about automobiles. One of the many athletes who is doing well in terms of sponsorship is Carlos. Who wouldn't want a face that would make their brand more marketable? 2015 was the year that Carlos received his first sponsorship from Lotto Clothing, who was in charge of his wares until Nike came along and swooped him away with an irresistible deal that has been going on for 10 years, and talks of a renewer are in the air. Nike, like a lot of other people, is able to see the similarities between Nadal and Carlos because they've made similar apparel for both of them. The endorsement deal that Carlos Alcaraz has with BMW is one of the most prominent of his career to date. On his social media page, he made the announcement about the deal. Although the company has not specified which model he is chosen for, they have stated that he will be able to choose any model from their range I, and the model that is least expensive of the series is priced at €54,900. This translates to a significant amount of money for the athlete. Now, the contract he has with Rolex is the most important one he has signed throughout his career. It would appear that the watch brand compares itself to rising tennis stars at the beginning of their careers. Roger Federer is a good example of a good brand ambassador. In 2006, he signed a deal worth $10 million, which was one of the most significant endorsement deals in sports at the time. Federer currently earns approximately $1.5 million annually from this deal. When he renewed the contract in 2016, he increased his annual salary for endorsing Rolex watches to approximately $8 million. What are the repercussions for Carlos now? This indicates that Carlos has the potential to earn more money from the brand than Roger did, if he is able to maintain the excellent form he has shown as of late and continue to deliver outstanding performances. In addition, Carlos is sponsored by the tennis racket manufacturer Babolat and the Spanish meat processor El Pozo Alimentación. Babolat is responsible for providing Carlos with the rackets he uses during matches. Now, let's talk about his girlfriend, Maria Gonzalez Jimenez. She hails from Spain, where she competes as a tennis player, and she is absolutely stunning. Maria has been a tennis player since she was a child, and her abilities on the court are outstanding. She participates in a number of tennis competitions and always ensures that she comes out on top. Maria is not a very public figure because she prefers to keep her personal life private, with the exception of the photographs of herself and her friends that she shares on social media. This privacy is also apparent in their romantic relationship, as the two have not openly acknowledged to one another that they are a couple, despite the fact that the photographs they have posted on social media platforms have spoken for them. We are hopeful that Carlos will continue to be successful both on and off the court, and that he will be able to maintain his position as number one for as long as possible, hopefully in due time. Maybe we'll get to see someone come up to be a worthy challenger of the star, thereby beginning a rivalry that would match that of the Big Three. Do you think Carlos would eventually be able to match the aura of the Big Three? Let us know what you think in the comments section below.